Hello and thanks for joining me. Well, let's finish up this router fence. Plastic came in today. I'm anxious to see how it works. That was kind of unexpected. It's got kind of a textured finish to it. Don't like that. I think it'll be okay, but it would have been better smooth. Anyway, let's get started. Just a brief word about table saw safety. You'll notice I got what they call a splitter back there. What that does, it just stops that stock from moving away from the fence. When I'm pushing it right here, it can't do like that, and that prevents kickbacks. Now, that was supposed to be a guard that goes over the blade. Most of them get removed because of convenience. But if you buy a new saw, and this is just my opinion, they make something called a riving knife. And most your new saws, most your new better saws have one. And it's like a linoleum knife. It's about that shape. It sits and it contours the blade. And it takes the place of that splitter. But the neat thing about the riving knife is it goes up and down with the blade. This does not. So if I want to cut halfway through some stock, this gets in the way and I have to take it off. But that's just a pet peeve of mine. Riving knife is what is needed on every saw. If you want to run a blade guard over the top, go for it. But I think a riving knife is the #1 safety feature you should look for in a saw. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. So here's what I want to do. I want to attach these here and here, and I want them adjustable to adjust the clearance around my bit. It's only got to move a maximum of 2 inches. So what I need to do is cut some 2-inch long slots in here, and I think 3 of them will be enough. If I don't put at least 3 in there, I'm going to end up with a little bit of warpage, and I won't have a flat fence. So that's my next step. I'm going to mill 3 slots in here. I have to do a little research on how to mill plastic. Do I need low speed, high speed? What do I need? Okay, I got a 5/8 mill in there, and I'm going to mill down 1/4 inch. That'll allow plenty for the top of this screw. And then first I'll mill the clearance for that washer right there, and then I'll probably mill a 5/16 hole for that 1/4 inch. I couldn't find any information on milling plastic. We'll just see how it does. I did read that it was very forgiving. And touching right there. Reset my DRO and go 1/4 inch deep. Wonder if it's going to melt. I'm going to have to move while I'm cutting, because my end mill doesn't cut on the end. I'm afraid of that. It's leaving a slight ridge here, which may come off okay. I think I'm going to slow the mill down. Slower definitely worked better. I got some stops here that I've never used to make it so I don't have to watch 2 or 3 DROs at one time. Okay, I think I got this figured out. Okay, that went fairly well. Now we're going to attach it to the front of our fence. Okay, I've still got the mill vise set up for when I drilled the holes, and this is 3" and the others are 3". So I should be perfectly lined up. Should be. Index from the same side. Let me go get a piece of plastic and make sure. Yep, looks perfect. I believe that's going to work good. I've got some UHMW tape here. This is really useful stuff. I use it for drawer slides. Like a peel and stick. That'll help the fence slide. Wow, that's very smooth. Well, let's give it a try. Okay, fine tuning it might be a little bit touchy, but it's all right. Seems to be square to my fence here. I need to square off a piece of wood and make sure. I'll do that right now. I just squared up the end of this piece of wood here, and it seems perfect. When I move it, it stays very parallel, which is excellent. Well, that about wraps up part 3 of the router fence build. I had a couple of questions on part 1, like why does the fence have to be parallel? Well, the reason I asked that, and it was a valid question, is because some people use a, they call it a sled or whatever, against their fence to route the end of stock. And that's a great way to do it. If you have a miter gauge or a miter slot in your router table where you use a miter gauge, then the fence needs to be square. In my case, I've got a linear slide which stays square to the table, so my fence needs to be square to the table also. But anyway, every situation is different depending on what you got. I'm really pleased with the way this came out, and that about wraps it up. Thanks for joining me, and be sure and subscribe.